All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into EXP World Holdings Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yeah, they're really shaking things up in the virtual real estate space.
Definitely, especially with their, really aggressive international expansion.
It is fascinating to see their resilience in this market.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about these macroeconomic headwinds, but
Right.
they still pulled off a 7% year-over-year revenue increase,
Wow,
hitting $4.6 billion for the year.
that's impressive.
It is, and Q4 revenue jumped even higher.
Didn't it? Like 12%.
12% jump year over year,
Wow.
driven by both increased transactions and improved agent productivity.
Okay.
But what really stands out to me is their international growth.
Yeah.
We're talking a 63% revenue increase for the year and an even faster 72% growth in Q4 alone.
It's wild.
They're setting up shop in new markets like Turkey,
Right.
Peru, and Egypt.
Yeah.
And they've got their sights set on operating in over 60 countries within 5 years.
Almost like they're taking the U.S. real estate playbook.
Yeah.
And just introducing it to the world.
Right.
But on this much faster timeline.
Absolutely.
And what I think is really interesting is that they're actually pioneering
Yeah.
the use of MLS systems in these new markets.
Yeah, they just launched one in Egypt.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It makes you wonder if they're aiming to become the dominant global real estate platform.
Right.
But let's not forget about their performance here in the U.S.
Right.
They did report a net loss overall, but their adjusted net income for the year soared by 247%.
Okay.
They're also sitting on $113.5 million in cash.
Wow.
And they've got a network of 82,980 agents.
So they're clearly not afraid to, spend money to make money,
Right.
especially when it comes to attracting and keeping those top agents.
Yeah. And speaking of agents,
Yeah,
XP is all about that agent-centric model.
for sure. For sure.
So let's look at how that's playing out.
Okay.
Their agent satisfaction scores are incredibly high.
Yeah.
They've got a net promoter score of 76, with 88% of agents rating their transaction experience a 9 or a 10.
So what's the secret sauce? What are they doing that's making the agents so happy?
Well, a big part of it is their value stack,
Yeah.
which is this bundle of tools and resources that they provide to their agents.
Like what?
So think Canva Pro for marketing.
Okay.
They've got the Sisu platform for business tracking.
Oh, interesting.
And then they also have these intensive training programs like FastCat.
Okay.
Really helps agents get up to speed quickly.
Makes sense.
And of course, there's that focus on agent ownership through
Right.
their stock equity programs and revenue sharing.
It's no wonder they're attracting big names like Spring Bengtson,
Right.
who recently switched over from a competitor.
Huge win for AXP.
Yeah, that's a major win for them.
Could signal a shift in the competitive landscape,
It could, for sure.
especially when you consider that AXP's leadership has stated their focus is on attracting and retaining highly productive agents,
Oh, interesting.
not just increasing headcount.
So quality over quantity.
Yeah, it seems like it,
That's smart.
especially in this market.
Yeah, speaking of competition,
Yeah.
how is AXP navigating this current real estate climate and
Right.
all buzz around private marketplaces?
They seem very well positioned to handle all the ups and downs.
Okay.
Their flexible cost structure,
Mm-hmm.
which leans heavily towards variable costs, allows them to adjust as needed.
Okay.
And they're also making these significant long-term investments,
Okay.
particularly in international expansion.
Right.
And intriguingly, in AI technology.
AI. Now that's where things get really interesting.
Right.
What is AXP's take on how AI will shape the real estate industry?
Their CEO actually predicts that they'll be able to operate with 1/3 to 1/2 of their current staff in 5 years,
Wow.
thanks to AI automation.
That's a bold prediction.
It is. They're already investing heavily in AI for tasks like contract management.
So they're betting big on AI
Uh-huh.
to streamline their operations.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for the future of real estate agents themselves?
Right.
What skills are going to be valuable in a
Yeah.
world where AI is handling more and more of the routine tasks?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Well, XP is clearly embracing the potential of AI.
Mm.
They're also emphasizing the importance of the MLS,
Okay.
especially in these emerging international markets.
So it sounds like they're trying to find that sweet spot
Yeah,
between embracing the new technology
right.
and upholding the value of existing systems.
Yeah, and they're positioning themselves as bringing a professionalizing influence to these new markets.
Okay.
For them, it's about advocating for data quality, transparency, and ethical practices.
That's interesting.
It is.
They are certainly making bold moves.
They are.
But before we get too lost in the future,
Right.
let's bring it back down to the present.
Okay.
What about those agent commission rates that everyone's been talking about?
Yeah, have we seen any significant shifts yet? I'm curious.
Oh.
Despite the NAR settlement and all the speculation around it, agent commission rates seem to be holding steady for now.
That's definitely something to watch closely.
It is.
It'll be interesting to see how EXP and other brokerages adapt if we do see a major shift in those commission structures.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you've been cooking up a pretty wild trade idea based on everything we've discussed.
Well.
Don't hold back. Let's hear it.
All right, remember, this is purely speculative.
Of course, of course.
Falls squarely into the "this is not financial advice"
I
category.
have to say that.
So, based on XP's aggressive international growth and their laser focus on AI, my wild idea is to invest in a basket of international real estate companies that seem ripe for disruption.
That's an interesting angle.
Yeah.
So you're essentially betting that XP's model will become the dominant force in these less developed markets,
Right.
and that the companies that can adapt and adopt similar strategies will thrive.
Exactly.
High risk, high reward.
That's what makes the market so exciting right now.
You got that right. It's all about finding those companies that can ride the wave of innovation. And XP is certainly making some big waves.
They are, and it's not just about the technology.
Right.
They're also creating this strong sense of community and collaboration among their agents.
Okay.
You know, they host regional rallies, they offer advanced training programs, and they create opportunities for agents to connect and learn from each other.
So it's not just about the money.
Right.
It's about creating an environment where agents feel valued,
Yeah.
supported, and inspired.
It's powerful.
It is, especially in a competitive industry like real estate.
Absolutely.
Now, when we look at XP's rivals,
Yeah.
who are they up against, both here in the U.S.
Yeah.
and internationally?
So domestically, their main competition comes from the established giants,
Right.
like Keller Williams, Realogy, and Compass.
Right.
But XP's virtual model and their agent-centric approach give them a unique edge.
Okay.
They don't have those same brick-and-mortar costs.
Yeah.
And their focus on agent ownership fosters a high level of loyalty and motivation.
It sounds like they're shaking things up, challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
Which is always exciting to see.
Yeah.
What about on the international stage?
Internationally, they're often going up against local or regional players
Okay.
who may not have the same level of technological sophistication or that global reach.
Right.
This gives XP an opportunity to really establish a strong foothold early on.
It's like they're the new kid on the block with a fresh perspective and a disruptive business model.
Absolutely.
But beyond their innovative model
It's
and
different.
their global ambitions, what else stands out to you about XP's overall strategy?
One thing that impresses me is their emphasis on partnerships.
Okay.
You know, they understand that they can't be everything to everyone.
Right.
So they're teaming up with best-in-class providers to offer their agents access to top-notch tools and services.
So it's like they're building an ecosystem where agents can find everything they need to thrive.
Exactly.
That's smart.
It is.
Definitely.
This collaborative approach will likely serve them well as they continue to expand and evolve.
And speaking of evolution, XP has come a long way since it started.
Yeah.
How would you characterize their journey so far?
It's been quite a ride.
It has.
From their humble beginnings as a small virtual brokerage,
Right.
they've transformed into this global powerhouse, consistently pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the real estate industry.
It's true.
Their rapid agent growth,
Yeah.
their expansion into international markets, and their embrace of cutting-edge technologies
Right.
like the metaverse and AI,
Yeah.
those are all key milestones that have gotten them to where they are today.
It's a testament to their vision, their adaptability,
Yeah,
and their unwavering focus on their agents.
absolutely.
Now, we can't talk about XP without mentioning their unique virtual world,
Right.
which has become synonymous with their brand. How has this virtual environment contributed to their success?
Well, their virtual world is a brilliant stroke of innovation.
Okay.
It gives agents this sense of community and connection that's often lacking in traditional brokerages.
Yeah.
It's also this powerful platform for training, collaboration, and business development.
It's like they've created this virtual hub
Yeah.
where agents can connect, learn, and grow together. That sense of community can be invaluable.
It is.
especially for a company with such a globally dispersed workforce.
Absolutely. It's been a key factor in attracting and retaining top talent.
Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about some of the potential challenges ESP might face in the future.
Okay.
What are some of the headwinds they'll need to navigate?
Well, one challenge that comes to mind is this ongoing debate around agent commissions
Okay.
and this pressure to lower fees.
Right.
While EXP has managed to maintain stable commission rates so far, this issue is likely to persist as competition heats up.
That's a valid concern. They'll need to find creative ways to add value for both agents and clients to justify those fees in potentially more cost-sensitive market.
Definitely.
What other challenges do you foresee?
Well, the possibility of increased regulation in the real estate industry.
Oh, okay.
As technology disrupts traditional models, regulators are likely to take a closer look at how the industry operates,
Makes sense.
which could lead to new rules that EXP will need to adapt to.
So they'll need to stay agile,
Yeah,
be prepared to adjust to that changing regulatory landscape.
absolutely.
What else?
Well, the ever-changing technological landscape is always something to consider.
Of course.
EXP has been a leader in adopting new technologies,
Yeah.
but they'll need to stay ahead of the curve to maintain their competitive advantage.
It's a constant race to innovate and stay relevant in the tech world,
Yeah.
especially in a fast-paced industry like
Yeah,
real estate.
For sure.
That's
They'll
for sure.
need to be strategic about their investments in new technologies.
Looking beyond the immediate future, what are some of the long-term trends that could significantly impact XSP's business?
Well, one major trend is this increasing importance of data and analytics in real estate.
Yeah.
XP is already leveraging data to provide its agents with valuable insights,
Right.
but they'll need to continue investing in data-driven tools and strategies to stay ahead of the competition.
Data is king in so many industries these days.
It is.
Sounds like real estate is no exception.
It's all about harnessing the power of data to make smarter decisions.
Right.
Another trend is this growing demand for sustainability in real estate.
Interesting.
XP will need to consider how they can incorporate sustainable practices into their business model
Okay.
to appeal to environmentally conscious clients.
It's a smart move. Sustainability is becoming increasingly important to consumers
It is.
across all sectors.
Yeah,
Real estate's no different.
absolutely. Another trend to watch is the rise of the sharing economy
Okay.
and its potential impact on real estate.
How so?
Well, platforms like Airbnb are already disrupting traditional models of ownership and occupancy,
Right.
and EXP will need to consider how they can adapt to these evolving trends.
It's a dynamic and ever-changing landscape,
That is.
and EXP will need to be agile to thrive.
Their ability to adapt and innovate will be key to their long-term success.
Now, before we move on, I'd love to hear your thoughts on EXP's leadership team.
Okay.
How have they shaped the company's culture?
Well, they seem to be a driving force behind the company's success.
What are your impressions?
I agree. They're visionary, innovative, and
Yeah.
deeply committed to their agents. They've fostered a culture of collaboration,
Okay.
transparency, and empowerment,
Yeah.
which has been instrumental in attracting and retaining top talent.
It sounds like they've created a truly unique and inspiring work environment.
They have, and their leadership will continue to be crucial as EXP navigates the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Speaking of the future,
Hmm.
what advice would you give to aspiring agents?
Right.
Just starting their careers.
Yeah.
Especially with all these technological advancements and market shifts happening in real estate.
It's an exciting time to be entering the field, but also a bit daunting with all the changes taking place.
It is.
My advice would be to embrace technology,
Okay.
build a strong personal brand,
Mhm.
and focus on providing exceptional client service.
Solid advice.
Yeah,
And I'd add that it's crucial to find a brokerage that aligns with your values and provides the support and resources you need to thrive.
absolutely. Choosing the right brokerage can make all the difference in a successful real estate career.
And on that note, we'll wrap up part 1 of our deep dive into EXP World Holdings.
Okay.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore their financials in more detail and delve deeper into their international expansion strategy.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into EXP World Holdings.
All right, so let's shift gears now and take a closer look at their financials.
Okay.
Time to crunch some numbers.
All right.
Where should we start?
Well, during the earnings call, their CFO, Kent Cheng, highlighted that their North American realty segment is still their primary revenue and profit driver.
Okay.
What's interesting is that even with the challenges in the U.S. residential market, they've managed to deliver some pretty solid results.
Could you break those results down for us? Give us some specifics.
Sure. So in Q4, their North American realty revenue jumped 11% year over year to $1.68 billion.
Okay.
That's driven by those higher home sale prices.
Right.
And importantly, that improved agent productivity that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
For the full year segment, revenue increased 6% to nearly $4.5 billion.
So even in a tougher market, they're finding ways to grow.
They are.
What about their profitability in North America? Did they manage to improve those margins?
Our profitability saw some pretty significant gains.
Okay.
Their Q4 adjusted EBITDA increased by a whopping 63% year over year to $14 million.
Wow.
And for the full year, it surged an incredible 151% to $99 million.
Those are some impressive gains. It definitely seems like their strategy of focusing on attracting and retaining highly productive agents is paying off.
It's a strategy that seems to be working for them.
Yeah.
Now let's zoom out and take a look at their overall financials for the year.
All right, give us the big picture.
For the full year, 2024, EXP's revenue increased 7% year over year.
All right.
They maintained a solid gross margin of 12.6%, excluding things like revenue share and stock-based compensation.
Right.
And their adjusted EBITDA, which gives us a sense of their operating profitability, rose by a healthy 16% to $75.5 million.
Solid growth, healthy margins, and improving profitability.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're on the right track financially.
They do.
But before we dive deeper into their overall financial picture, I want to talk about their agent equity program.
Okay.
It's one of the things that sets them apart from traditional brokerages.
It is.
What's the latest on that front?
Their commitment to agent ownership is as strong as ever. In 2024, they issued 1.8 million shares to their agents through their Agent Growth Incentive Program with an estimated total value of $22 million.
That's a pretty significant investment in their agents.
It is, and over the past 6 years, they've issued over 13.3 million shares to agents through this program, representing an estimated total value of $227 million.
Wow, so they're putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to agent ownership.
They are.
And it seems to be paying off in terms of attracting and retaining top talent.
It is, but it's not just about issuing shares. They're
Yeah.
also actively repurchasing their own stock.
Oh, interesting.
In 2024 alone, they repurchased over $141 million worth of common stock, representing more than 11.9 million shares.
So they're rewarding their agents and looking out for their shareholders. It sounds like they're striking a balance between investing in growth and returning value to shareholders.
Exactly, playing a smart strategic game.
Yeah.
Now let's zoom in on their international expansion.
Go ahead.
We know it's a key part of their growth strategy, but it also comes with its own set of financial considerations.
Of course.
So how are they approaching this from a financial perspective?
Well, it's a big undertaking for sure. Are they expecting immediate returns from these new markets?
They're taking a long-term view.
Okay.
They understand that building a presence in new markets requires upfront investment,
Right.
and they're willing to be patient as these markets mature.
Makes sense.
They're not expecting immediate profitability from every new country they enter.
So it's a strategic investment in their future growth.
Yeah,
They're playing the long game, and it seems like their financials reflect that approach.
exactly. They're not just chasing short-term gains.
Right.
They're building a sustainable global business.
Okay.
Now, we've talked a lot about their revenue and profitability,
Right.
but what about their cash position? How strong are their financials overall?
That's a crucial question. Do they have the resources to execute their ambitious plans?
Well, their financial position appears quite solid. They ended the quarter with $113.5 million in cash, giving them plenty of flexibility to execute their strategy.
Okay, so that's a healthy cash cushion,
Yeah,
which is important, especially given the current economic uncertainties.
it is.
Sounds like they're in a good position to weather any storms that might come their way.
They certainly seem to be. They've got a strong track record of managing their finances responsibly, and that's likely to continue.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the key questions and concerns that analysts and investors might have about EXP's financials.
Okay.
What are some of the things that people are likely to be wondering about?
Well, one key question is likely to be around their profitability in a potentially slower housing market.
Okay.
Investors will want to know how EXP plans to maintain or even grow their earnings if transaction volumes decline.
That's a valid concern. The housing market is cyclical,
It is.
and EXP will need to demonstrate that their model can thrive in different market conditions.
Absolutely. Another question might revolve around their international expansion.
Hmm.
Investors will be curious about the pace of their rollout,
Mm-hmm.
the costs associated with entering new markets, and the timeline to profitability in these regions.
Those are all important considerations.
Yeah,
International expansion is a complex undertaking.
it is.
Investors are going to want to see a clear plan and realistic expectations.
Right.
What else might be on investors' minds?
Another potential concern might be around their reliance on technology.
Okay.
While their virtual model and tech-driven approach are key differentiators,
Right.
investors might also worry about the risks associated with technological disruptions or cybersecurity threats.
That's a valid point. Technology is constantly evolving, and EXP will need to stay ahead of the curve to mitigate those risks.
Exactly. They'll need to demonstrate that they have a robust technological infrastructure
Right.
and a proactive approach to cybersecurity.
So beyond these specific concerns, what are some broader questions that investors and analysts might have about EXP's long-term financial sustainability?
Right.
Can they keep this momentum going?
Well, investors will likely be interested in XFC's ability to maintain its high growth rate over the long term.
Okay.
They'll want to see a clear path to continued revenue and earnings growth, even as the company matures.
That's a key question for any growth company.
It is.
Sustaining those high growth rates over an extended period,
Right.
it's challenging.
Investors will also be evaluating XP's competitive landscape.
Okay.
They'll want to understand how XP's plans to differentiate itself from both traditional brokerages
Right.
and those newer tech-driven competitors.
Well, they'll need to showcase their unique value proposition
Yeah,
and prove that their model can withstand competitive pressures.
exactly. Now shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about XP's management team.
Right.
How would you assess their ability to address these financial challenges and lead the company into the future?
Well, they seem to be a driving force behind the company's success so far.
They do.
What are your thoughts on their ability to navigate the road ahead?
XP's management team has a proven track record of success. They've navigated challenging market conditions before, and they've consistently delivered strong financial results.
Right.
They're experienced, they're innovative, and they have a clear vision for the future of the company.
It seems like a strong and capable team,
Yeah,
which is crucial for any company,
right.
especially one that's growing as rapidly as EXP.
They are, and they've assembled a talented team of executives and managers who are well equipped to execute their strategy.
Now, let's talk about some of the key financial metrics that investors, analysts should be watching closely when evaluating EXP.
Okay.
What are the numbers that matter most?
Key metrics to watch include revenue growth, gross margin adjusted EBITDA agent count, and transaction volume.
Okay.
These metrics provide insights into EXP's overall financial health,
Right.
its operating efficiency, and its growth trajectory.
So it's a combination of top-line growth, profitability, and those key operational indicators.
Exactly. And investors should also pay attention to EXP's cash flow and balance sheet strength. These factors provide a measure of XP's financial stability and its ability to invest in future growth.
It's about looking at the whole picture, not just focusing on one or two numbers.
Precisely. And it's important to consider these metrics in the context of XP's industry, its competitive landscape, and its overall growth strategy.
Now, let's step back and talk about XP's overall financial strategy.
Okay.
How would you characterize their approach to managing their finances and driving shareholder value?
Right.
What's their big picture thinking when it comes to finances?
Well, XP's financial strategy seems to be centered around balancing growth and profitability.
Okay.
They're investing heavily in expanding their agent network, entering new markets, and developing innovative technologies.
So they're prioritizing growth,
Yeah,
but also keeping a close eye on the bottom line.
exactly. They're not sacrificing profitability for the sake of growth,
Right.
but they're also not afraid to make strategic investments that might not pay off immediately.
It's a delicate balance to strike.
It is. And they're also focused on generating strong cash flow and maintaining a healthy balance sheet,
Right.
which gives them the financial flexibility to pursue their growth ambitions.
It sounds like they have a sound and well-articulated financial strategy.
They do, and they've demonstrated a commitment to transparency and accountability in their financial reporting, which is essential for building trust with investors.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's talk about some of the potential risks and uncertainties that could impact XP's financial performance going forward.
Okay.
What are some of the things that investors should be aware of?
Well, one key risk is the cyclical nature of the housing market.
Of course.
XP's business is heavily dependent on real estate transactions.
Right.
So a downturn in the housing market could have a significant impact on their revenue and profitability.
That's a risk that any company operating in the real estate industry has to contend with.
Exactly. It's inherent to the business.
Right.
Another risk is the intense competition in the real estate brokerage industry. XP faces competition from both traditional brick-and-mortar brokerages and newer tech-driven competitors.
So they're operating in a dynamic and constantly evolving market.
Right.
It's a crowded space.
Yeah.
And staying ahead of the competition is key.
Definitely another potential risk is the evolving regulatory landscape.
Okay.
As the real estate industry embraces new technologies and business models,
Right.
regulators are likely to increase scrutiny
Yeah.
and potentially impose new rules that could impact XP's operations.
That's a factor that all companies in the real estate space will need to navigate.
Absolutely. It's about staying informed and adapting to the changing regulatory environment.
Right.
And investors should also be mindful of the risks associated with XP's rapid growth.
Okay.
Managing a high-growth company can be challenging, and XP will need to demonstrate that they can maintain their operational efficiency and control costs as they scale.
Those are all valid concerns that investors should be aware of.
Yeah.
Sounds like investors will need to weigh these risks against XP's growth potential and their confidence in the management team's ability to execute their strategy.
Exactly. Investing in any company involves a degree of risk.
Right.
And XP is no exception.
Sure.
But their strong track record, innovative model, and experienced leadership team suggest they are well positioned to navigate these challenges and deliver long-term value to shareholders.
That's a great overview of XP's financials and the key factors that investors should be considering.
Yeah.
Now, in our final segment, we'll delve deeper into their international expansion strategy,
Okay.
exploring the opportunities and challenges they face as they aim to become a global real estate powerhouse. All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into EXP World Holdings.
Right.
We've covered their strong financial performance, their unique agent-centric model, and now it's time to explore really the heart of their growth strategy,
Right.
international expansion.
Yeah, they're not just testing the waters.
Right.
They are diving headfirst into these international markets.
Yeah, it's clear they see massive potential outside of North America.
They do.
But what's driving this aggressive push? What's the big opportunity they're chasing?
Well, they're essentially taking the successful model they've built in the US and Canada
Okay.
and replicating it in regions where the real estate landscape is ripe for disruption.
So they're taking a proven formula
Right.
and applying it to new markets.
It's like they're exporting the best practices and the technology that have made them so successful domestically.
That makes sense, but timing is everything in business.
It is.
Why now? Why this big international push at this particular moment?
Well, they're doing it at a time when these international markets are experiencing significant growth and modernization.
Okay.
You know, the real estate industry in many of these regions is undergoing a transformation.
Right.
And EXP is well positioned to capitalize on that.
It's a case of right place, right time
Yeah.
with the right model.
It's a powerful combination.
It is a powerful combination.
Yeah.
Now let's get specific. Where exactly are they focusing their international efforts?
Okay.
Give us the global tour of EXP's expansion.
They're already operating in 22 countries
Wow.
and actively expanding into new territories,
Okay.
including Turkey, Peru, and Egypt.
So they're busy.
Yeah, and their goal is to have a presence in over 60 countries within the next 5 years.
That's incredibly ambitious.
It is.
It makes you wonder what their criteria are for choosing these specific markets.
Right.
Are they looking at certain economic indicators or demographics?
Well, it's likely a combination of factors, including, economic growth potential,
okay.
the size and maturity of the real estate market, and the regulatory environment.
Right.
They're probably also looking at the level of technology adoption
Okay.
and the potential for disruption in these markets.
So it sounds like they've done their homework.
Yeah.
They have a strategic plan in place.
They do, but it's not just about planting flags in new countries.
Right.
They're building comprehensive operations localized for each market.
Okay.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
They're adapting their model to fit the unique cultural and regulatory nuances of each region.
That's smart.
They're hiring local teams,
Okay.
translating their materials,
Mhm.
and adjusting their strategies to fit that local context.
That shows they're taking a thoughtful and strategic approach to international expansion,
Yay.
which is essential for long-term success.
Absolutely.
They're not just trying to impose their U.S.-centric model on the world.
Right.
They're adapting and learning as they go.
And they're not doing this alone.
Okay.
They're leveraging their existing global network of agents
Right.
to facilitate this expansion.
Okay.
You know, they have agents who are already familiar with these markets,
Right.
who can provide valuable insights and connections.
Like they have a built-in global network of ambassadors.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage.
It is. And of course,
Yeah.
they're also attracting top talent in these new markets by offering the same agent-centric benefits and opportunities
Right.
that have been so successful domestically.
So they're replicating their winning formula on a global scale.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. International expansion isn't without its challenges.
Right.
What are some of the hurdles EXP might face as they go global?
Okay.
What could trip them up?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is navigating the complex regulatory landscape
Okay.
of these different countries.
Right.
You know, real estate laws and regulations vary widely,
They do.
and EXP will need to ensure that they comply with all the local requirements.
That sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It can be.
Yeah.
This could involve obtaining licenses,
Right.
setting up local entities,
Mm.
and dealing with different tax regimes.
So they'll need a strong legal and compliance team
Yeah,
to guide them through this process.
right.
Make sure they're operating within the bounds of the law in
Absolutely.
each jurisdiction.
Yeah.
What other challenges do you see on the horizon? What else could slow them down?
Another challenge is adapting to different cultural norms and business practices. What works in the US or Canada might not work in other parts of the world.
Right.
They'll need to be culturally sensitive
Mm-hmm.
and flexible in their approach.
It's a global business,
Yeah,
but it's also a very local business.
it is.
Understanding those local nuances is critical.
Exactly. They'll need to find the right balance between maintaining their core values and adapting to local customs and expectations. This is
Right.
where their global network of agents will be invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can provide those insights and guidance on how to navigate these cultural differences.
That local expertise is crucial.
It is.
Now, we can't forget about competition.
Right.
They're not the only player in the international real estate game.
They're not.
Who are they up against and how fierce is the competition?
Well, they'll face competition from both established international brokerages
Okay.
and local players
Right.
who have a deep understanding of their respective markets.
Okay.
Some of these competitors may have been operating in these regions for decades and have strong brand recognition and established networks.
So EXP is going to need to differentiate themselves
Yeah.
and demonstrate their unique value proposition
Right.
to stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely. They'll need to convince agents and clients that their model offers something different
Right.
and better than what's already available.
Makes sense.
This could involve highlighting their technology, their agent-centric approach, or their global reach.
It's a competitive landscape, but ECOP seems up for the challenge.
They do.
They've certainly proven they can compete and win in the U.S. and Canadian markets.
Yeah.
But what specific strategies are they employing to overcome these hurdles and succeed in international markets? What's their game plan?
Well, one key strategy is their focus on building strong local teams.
Okay.
They're hiring experienced real estate professionals in each market
Right.
who understand the local nuances
Mm-hmm.
and can build relationships with agents and clients.
Right.
They're not just parachuting in outsiders. They're building from the ground up with that local expertise.
So it's about combining their global expertise
Yeah.
with local knowledge and talent.
It is blending the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's a smart approach.
They're also leveraging technology
Yeah.
to bridge geographical gaps
Hmm.
and create a seamless experience for agents and clients across borders.
Makes sense.
You know, their virtual world is a powerful tool
Right.
for connecting and collaborating with agents all over the world.
That virtual world is a game changer, isn't it?
It is.
It allows them to build a global community,
Right.
provide that support and training to agents no matter where they are.
Absolutely. It's a key differentiator for them.
Right.
And they're not stopping there.
What else are they doing?
They're investing in language support
Okay.
and cultural training
Right.
to ensure that their agents can effectively communicate
Mm-hmm.
and build relationships with clients from diverse backgrounds.
It's about breaking down barriers,
Uh-huh.
creating a truly inclusive environment. They're fostering a culture of global collaboration and understanding. Impressive, really.
It is. They're thinking long-term
Yeah.
and building a foundation for sustainable global growth.
Now, looking beyond the operational and logistical aspects of international expansion,
Right.
What are some of the broader implications of XP's global ambitions?
Yeah.
What does this mean for the future of the real estate industry as a whole?
Well, XP's international push could have a ripple effect
Okay,
throughout
oh,
the industry.
how so?
Well, they're challenging traditional models
Right.
and raising the bar for innovation and agent empowerment.
Okay.
Their success could inspire other brokerages to adopt similar strategies, leading to a more dynamic and competitive landscape.
So they're not just disrupting the market, but
Yeah.
potentially reshaping the entire industry on a global scale.
Their impact could be significant.
It could.
Yeah, it could also accelerate the adoption of technology and virtual tools
Right.
in the real estate industry worldwide.
It's like they're leading the charge into a new era of real estate.
They are, and their focus on international expansion could also have implications for the global housing market.
Oh, interesting. How so?
By connecting buyers and sellers across borders,
Right.
they're facilitating a more fluid and interconnected real estate market.
Okay.
This could lead to greater price transparency,
Okay.
increased liquidity,
Mm-hmm.
and more opportunities for investors and homeowners alike.
It's fascinating to think about the potential impact they could have
Yeah.
on a global scale.
It is.
They're not just building a company, they're building a movement.
They are. They're at the forefront of a transformative shift in the real estate industry.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I'd like to get your overall assessment of EXP's international expansion strategy.
Right.
What are their chances of success,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the key factors that will determine their fate? Can they pull this off?
Well, I believe EXP has a strong chance of succeeding in international markets. You know, they have a proven model, a talented team, and a clear vision.
Yeah, they seem to have all the right ingredients in place.
They do, but their success will depend on several key factors.
Okay, like what?
First, they'll need to effectively navigate the regulatory and cultural complexities of each market they enter.
Right.
You know, they can't afford to make missteps or underestimate the local challenges.
That's essential for any international business,
It is.
especially in a complex industry like real estate.
Absolutely. Second, they'll need to attract and retain top talent in these new markets.
Okay.
You know, their agent-centric model is a major draw,
Right.
but they'll need to ensure they're providing the support and resources that agents need to thrive in these new environments.
It's not just about attracting agents.
Right.
It's about empowering them to succeed.
It's about empowering agents to succeed on a global stage.
Exactly.
And third, they'll need to continuously innovate and adapt to the evolving needs of international clients.
Okay.
The real estate market is constantly changing. And XP will need to stay ahead of the curve to remain competitive.
So they'll need to be agile,
Yeah.
flexible, and constantly learning and evolving.
It's a tall order, but they've shown they're capable of adapting and innovating.
They have, and their commitment to technology,
Right.
their global network, and their focus on agent empowerment
Mm-hmm.
give them a distinct edge.
They do.
It'll be fascinating to watch how this all unfolds.
It will.
So what's the bottom line for our listeners?
Okay.
What's the key takeaway from this deep dive into EXP World Holdings?
Right.
What should they be paying attention to?
XP is a company to watch.
Okay.
You know, their innovative model,
Mm-hmm.
their impressive growth, and their ambitious global expansion plans
Right.
make them a force to be reckoned with in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
They're not just changing the game,
Right.
they're rewriting the rules.
That's a good way to put it.
Whether you're an agent, an investor, or just someone who's interested in the future of real estate,
Mm-hmm.
XP is a company worth keeping an eye on.
It's been a fascinating journey exploring the world of XP.
It has.
Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And for our listeners, if XP's story piqued your interest,
Yeah,
be sure to check out their website and follow their progress.
absolutely.
They're a company that's poised to make waves on a global scale.
Indeed, their story is just beginning.
And that concludes our deep dive into EXP World Holdings.
All right.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of business and innovation.